Good morning and welcome to the Orlando Real Estate Buzz. I'm Brendan Rendo, the Homes in Orlando team, joined as always by Joseph Dion of Apley Home Loans. Good morning, Joe.
What is up?
Well, you know how we had the nice little cold spell? And you said it's going to be back up to 80s? It's back up in the 80s.
Hey, shock of the century.
I know. I was really enjoying that.
It was so pretty.
Gotta love Florida. Anyways, we have got an absolute ton of economic news that has come out in the past several days. I mean, we got jobless claims. We have outlook on a possible recession. We've got foreclosure news. We've got home value news, and we've got mortgage refinance news. I mean, it's just been, quite honestly, a wave of information that's come out, and we're going to try and hit on all of that this morning here. So please enjoy us, sit back, and this is the Orlando. Okay, Joe, with so much on the board, where you want to start?
Throw a dart at it. I mean, gosh, the numbers are all over the place. I feel like we're gonna have this uncertainty of are they going to paint the narrative or not? For instance, like I saw that they're delaying the GDP report that was supposed to come out on November 26th just announced. Yep. Like literally while we were on this, that they're going to delay that. And I was like, well, what's the purpose to delay that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, come on. We're back to work. So,
we got to play catch up.
Yep. Well, they caught up on this September labor numbers.
Okay.
It was kind of interesting because overall, I mean, 119,000 non-farm payroll increase, not bad. The employment rate sitting at 4.4. Now that increased a tenth, didn't it? Or something like that?
It did. Like, I noticed it says little changed little, but it went from 4.3 to 4.4. I guess that is a little change. Like, but I feel like they're downplaying some of this news because that would have been a big deal 6 months ago.
Yep.
But I feel like it's not really. It's little.
Yeah. Now, do we have any idea when the October numbers are supposed to be released? I didn't see anything on that.
I didn't see anything on that.
So it's probably
taking September. So we're way behind. So October, maybe we get October. Never.
Yeah.
Because maybe October doesn't help paint the narrative that it's not really that bad.
Do you think the Fed will have the numbers?
No.
For their December meeting?
No. You know what? It'll probably drop. We'll get those numbers somewhere around like December 20th. So like too little too late for anything to happen.
A little too late. Yeah. So we've got this. So, I mean, not bad news. Then you had UBS Bank coming out this week and estimating that we've got a 93% chance of recession next year.
Clickbait.
Yeah. Well, Scott came out set, our U.S. Treasury Secretary, and said, nope, he thinks, things are really going to start taking off in the first quarter of next year. So
I like it.
Little conflict there. Then we got our foreclosure activity numbers. And foreclosures are up over 20% in the past month. But
how many homes is that really?
Well, when we get down into the numbers, guess who's leading the way? Florida.
Oh, choice.
1,829 homes.
Okay.
Started.
Foreclosure filings.
Yeah.
I feel like in the thing here, like when I think about it, is like these foreclosure filings are not they're not the people that bought their home in 2015, 2016, 2019, 2020. They're the people that probably bought in 21, 22, 23, 24.
Yep. Yeah, which I agree because, we're going to see something next that kind of blew my mind. So you've got this that they're announcing, that, hey, foreclosure numbers are up. But this is a report Zillow just came out with, saying 53% of U.S. homes have lost value in the past year. That's a big number.
And if Zillow's saying it, we know how gracious those estimates are. Like this is
I think everyone's getting a little nervous because they're seeing their estimates fall a lot.
Yeah. It's based off the recent sales, right? Like that's how their algorithm typically works. They don't necessarily look at what's what, but they look at, just the market data and the central sales, and then it comes up with their algorithm. And I know there's a lot of complexity to it, but I think when we go through the numbers each week, we play into this of like, well, there's more price decreases, there's more adjustments, there's more, and then let's be fair. Like when you have a gorgeous home, doesn't it sell really, really fast? Like if but the problem is those are the they're the diamond in the rough, so to speak, because what I'm seeing hitting the market mostly, and I could be wrong, is I'm seeing a lot of stuff that I'm like, like that's going to need a rehab.
I showed 6 or 7 homes in the Windermere area in the past last weekend with a client, and you're talking homes priced from the 600,000 to roughly about 750,000. 3 of them
starter homes.
Yeah, nice starter home. Yeah, 3 of them needed new roofs. All their roofs were original roofs from 2004, 2005. Yeah. So they all need new roofs. All the interiors were still the original builder grade type material. And like you said, you walked in and you're like, okay, I'm going to have to spend another $50,000, $60,000 to start getting this thing up to date to where I really want it to look nice. And of course, the one that they liked, guess what? It's the one where the people had done updates to it, had invested some money in it. And they can walk in and they can set their stuff down and just be, okay, I don't have to stress about everything. And that's for instance, I've got met with a client yesterday, a long time customer, and he's going to be moving back to Seattle, and walked into his house and it's spotless. It is spotless. And as an agent, I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is going to sell quick, because everyone's going to look at it like, I don't have to do anything for this. He's maintained everything. He has his records of everything that's been maintained. What a wonderful feeling. And that's one of the hardest things you have to get across to the sellers is that, guess what? Your condition, cleanliness, being up to date, it matters, and it's going to make a difference in your overall value. I mean, here's Zillow, when we break down the numbers, here's Orlando. Orlando is actually one of the top 5 as far as percentage of homes that have lost value. We're about 85% of the homes have lost value. And since the peak, on average, we've lost about 8.3% is what Zillow's saying. Which that's a good hit. That's a good hit. And lengthwise, people are staying in their houses here in Orlando a little bit longer. So we're about 8.2 years. But here's the good news. The good news is you're still up since your last purchase on average, 72%.
Yeah. Still doing okay.
Yeah, you're doing okay. You're not, and this is, again, is a hard part with sellers. It's like, are you taking a hit off? Is it coming down from the peak? Yeah, it is. But at the same time, you are still so far ahead of the game from when you purchased it. Feel great, be grateful that, hey, we're still doing extremely well on the purchase of this house. And I think that's where a lot of sellers are struggling, because they've still got that mindset that, hey, I want this price, because that's where I saw the Z estimate 2 years ago. It had me at $1.2 million. Now I'm sitting down at 1.05 million, and I'm upset. It's like, yeah, but you bought it for 5.
Yeah.
You bought it for 500,000. Come on. Let's just be a little bit realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got that. You got this news that the 401k hardships, are being pulled out, at a higher rate than they have been in an extremely long time. And then this other one we got is where is it? Oh, there it is. This amazed me. This is mortgage news. The refis rejections have gone through the roof. So that currently the refi numbers picked up as rates started going down. I'm sure you saw a little boost in the refi market.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is roughly about 41% of people who have applied for refinances have been rejected. Have you seen that?
I guess that's an interesting one, because we talk to a lot of clients, and I would say probably 1 out of 5 we talk to are closing on a refi. And I think it's double-edged sword. Is like, a lot of it is us looking at it and going, hey, the numbers don't make sense. It's not here. You don't have the equity. Like, we see a lot, but it's all sorts of varying reasons. And I think a lot of people, like you said, rates are coming down. But then when you do the numbers, it's like, all right, yeah, they came down, but they didn't come down as much as you had hoped. And now you got, you've leveraged yourself a little bit more. So we don't have the equity to do a cash out to pay off the debts that we need to pay off for you to qualify for the home, for the refinance. So I guess I would say, like, I could see that being accurate. And I think we do talk a lot of clients out of refinancing sometimes. Maybe not talk them out as wrong, but we lay the options and go, hey, like, we could do it, but you're not getting there. We talk to clients and they think that, I'm going to say $500, $600, $700, $800 a month. And then it's like, well, really it's 110.
Gotcha.
Like,
yeah, because are you finding that a lot of them, are you getting a lot of the people who've had the 4% range, they're doing it? Or is it that it's been more the 5s?
It's the people. Yeah. I feel like the people that are reaching out, that we're talking to a lot, that across the way, from what I'm seeing, is it's a lot of the people that bought in the last 4 years. Like that bought in that higher, when rates started getting into the 6s and 7s.
Gotcha.
Right. Those are the ones that, we do have some that are in the 3s and 4s, and a lot of those we're talking and saying, hey, like, when we look at the numbers, it's, hey, let's do a HELOC instead of a HELOan instead of a full refinance. I mean, is it, a type of refi? I guess probably. But it doesn't make sense for it to be like, hey, you have that beautiful little 3.6 rate or a 3.25 or a 4. Like, you really need 100,000 and your loan is 500. It doesn't make sense to bring you from that 3.5 up to a 6.
Yeah. That would kind of hurt, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So it defeat the purpose. But it is something that's interesting that we're seeing a little bit more. We are seeing some of those people that are in the lowers wanting to tap into the equity, like you mentioned, hardship loans. Like, we're seeing a lot of people think, like, how do I utilize this equity to get myself into a better financial picture, because they've been, they've got more debt than they've had before.
Yep. So we've got all this going on. So you look at all this news, and if you're a betting man, what do you think is going to happen December with the Fed?
I mean, if I was a betting man, I would say I would expect the Fed cut.
So you're going to expect it. So
I would say the data in my mind would say it's not as strong. We probably should. 25 basis points. What's going to happen is none. I mean, they're not going to do it. They're going to decide, like, they're just not. I don't think we're going to see any action. If I were to, like, true blue, like, what do I feel? Like, but I say based on the data, we should.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of lean your way. I think we should. I really think we should. But the markets have really started to turn on whether or not we're going to have a rate cut or not. Right now, the betting odds are no. We're seeing at 56% that we're not going to have this. And it has steadily increased over the past week and a half that they're probably not going to do a rate increase.
Yeah.
Which just more off of talking to people, feeling the frustration level a lot of people have with the economy. And this is one place where I think, the president needs to pivot and pivot quickly. And I think he's trying to do it, is stop saying everything's wonderful out there. People don't want to hear it because they don't feel it. I'll admit it. I like the gas prices are coming down. I at Costco the other day, I think it was $2.72, which that's nice.
That's nice.
With the amount of driving I do, it's nice. But then I go into Publix and I get, a couple gallons of tea, some lettuce, some of my wife's yogurt bars, and I just dropped $40.
You're like, that's not nice.
That's not nice. And I walk out with 2 bags. That's not so nice. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of people are feeling it is we're not, prices aren't, you're never going to see prices come down, but just feel like they've leveled off. And I still don't have that feeling that the prices have leveled off for us. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's the big problem. And Powell just is sometimes it's just so slow to react that I would personally, I think they need to. And I think one of the big reasons they need to is they got a ton of T-bills coming due at the end of the first quarter next year.
Yep.
And T-bills are all short term, that's the 1 month, 6 month, anything under a year. And we've got to get those short-term rates down and to be able to refinance them, not blow out the budget on interest payments. So that's one place where I'm just like, I'm not agreeing with them on that one.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing is we saw that initially, in October when they came up with it, that we saw interest rates drop, the mortgage rates drop. But then here we are again with the 10-year, and we're sitting close to that 4.1 mark, to where interest rates sitting more around 6.25 again, somewhere in that ballpark. We had a very small window where it was like, yes, we might finally see it, but it's because we're forward thinking, right? Like, so the markets were, if we were to go back to September, everybody expected that we would have September cut, October cut, December cut. Mm-hmm.
We got the September, we got the October, but the moment we got to the October, it was like, well,
he really went
to conclusion that we're going to do a December cut. And now it's, it's funny. It's like, as the market sways to thinking we're not going to get a December cut, now Powell is kind of like, well, it's not a foregone conclusion that we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, dude, like, this guy is tiptoeing the middle, and like, and I get it. It's like, you don't want to hold it, like, you don't know what you got to meet, you got to do this, but it's just like the markets just don't, like, now everybody's saying, well, we're hedging on it not happening, and rates have kind of gone the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
The market, I think, was really rallying on the thought that it was going to continue to go down. We were going to get the 3 from September, October, December. And now it's like, well, we get 2, and it's like, it's the big letdown.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, if you were to tell your kids, like, hey, we're going to go to McDonald's today and we're going to get milkshakes. And then you go to McDonald's and you're like, okay, well, you can get a Happy Meal, but we're not doing milkshakes.
Yeah.
Like your kid's like, all right, like, cool, I got McDonald's, I got my toy, but I wanted a milkshake too. Like, and that's where we are.
Yeah. And I'm sure Trump and Bassett cannot wait for March to arrive. I am positive they are just like counting the days for Powell to be out. Because one thing I will tell you is I can say with 100% certainty, he will not be renominated.
No, definitely not.
Not a chance. Not a chance. You know, that's better than even money. You know, that is not going to happen at all. So anyways, looking at what's going on down the road, we've actually had some projections come out on next year's numbers.
Okay.
And this is from NAR, you know, which if they're on their number, their economist is on their numbers. Hey, I'll buy him dinner, you know, steak, any place you want, you know, nice, big, thick one. Because what are they projecting for next year? You know, they're expecting a 14% increase.
Okay. That's strong.
That's a nice number. That's a nice number, which, considering we're down, depending on whose numbers you look at, we're going to be someplace between 3.7 and 4 million home sales.
Yep.
So we could be looking at an extra 500,000 home sales, which that's not a bad number. That is not a bad number. So expecting home sales to pick up a little bit. You know, they're expecting a 4% increase in home values. That, I'm not going to. I'm not going to agree with that.
They forecasted 3% in 2025. So
yeah, you know, and they're expecting 1.3 million new jobs and unemployment to stay right where it's at right now.
Yep.
You know, right around that 4.4%. Then we got Fannie Mae coming out with their numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they're estimating about 4.5 million sales next year, about a 10% increase.
So that's still strong.
That's still strong. That's still a good number, which, you know, if what the Treasury Secretary is saying comes to fruition, which is he starts to feel we see a turn in the economy in that first quarter, that makes sense to me. That really makes sense to me. That we should see that increase and see some relief, you know, overall for numbers. Because what's going on in this market right now is I do a weekly price reduction for each county: Orange, Seminole, and Volusia, for those three counties. And this past week, we saw 507 home price cuts in just Orange County alone. That's a big number of price cuts, a very big. And one of the things that stood out to me is look at the average days on market for these price cut homes. You got 96, 72, 73, 100, 86, 101, 126 days average on market.
I mean, I'm shocked about that one. That's Belle Isle. Like, Belle Isle is usually pretty popular. Yeah, I mean, you say 101 for Zellwood. Like, I don't know who actually wants to live in Zellwood except for people that left. But yeah, I mean, and then you go Windermere, high prices, like, you know, high price, like, it's very interesting. And when you see the number of homes, like, I think a lot of these numbers are, you know, it's because we don't have a lot hitting the market either. So what's on the market is just not pretty. Like, and I don't mean it that way, but like you would have told me, like, if you take my house, right? Like when I bought my home, and we talked about, like, when I bought my home, I won't say the price, but it's, you know, I bought in 2016. So it's worth more than double than what it is now. And I've done the renovation. I've got a crap ton more. Holy cow. Like, I felt like everything was wrong with the house. But like when I bought it at the price that I bought it, I said, oh, it needs a renovation. Like, we got this. But now if I were to sit there and buy my same home, and if it was in the condition when we bought it, I'd be like, oh, hell no. Like, that's like, I'm not spending this much money to have to spend that much more. Like, and that's where we are. Like, I know it, like, we're not dealing with little numbers anymore.
No.
And when you have the mortgages, when you're buying a $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 home, and your mortgage is $3,500, $4,500, $6,000, like, all of a sudden that project, maybe you were like, it's going to cost $5,000 to do this bathroom, like this soft remodel on my bathroom. But now you're like, oh, it's going to take a little bit to save that up. Like, because you don't have that disposable income that you once did because you're paying so much more for the home.
Yeah. And I think what the numbers should be telling a lot of these sellers, when you look at that on the days on market, is my house isn't desirable. Well, what do I have to do to make my house desirable?
Yeah. Use some of that equity. And I know it sounds silly, but use some of that equity, get a loan, like a HELOC or something, do some soft renovation, like make it attractive.
Make it attractive. Like, I mean, one of the best things you can do, and it's really not expensive, is repaint the interior. A lot of these homes that I was showing were the builder grade flat white paint.
Well, you do flat because it hides imperfections. That's why builders do it. That's why commercial properties and builders do flat paint, is it hides imperfections.
Yeah. It's the same reason why they do textures, but you're looking at it, it's like, even if you just put a new coat of white paint on the whole house. Yeah. People don't realize this. White paint fades. One of the things I tell a lot of my sellers, if they haven't painted their ceiling in the past 7-8 years, paint the ceilings. And they're like, what?
It makes it look brighter in the home. It makes the ceilings look like higher. It gives a pop. And it's one of the things that you think everybody does. Like, they paint the walls and then leave the ceiling. And the ceiling was painted 25 years ago.
Yeah. Paint the ceilings. Very simple. Really, really simple. And you will get the reward out of it. There's so many little things you can do. But again, you go in here and you're, like you say, you're looking at $670,000 average price in Winter Garden. Winter Park, $750,000. I don't want to have to do anything when I walk in and buy a house like that. Yeah. I want to come in, put my stuff down, and be done with it.
Exactly.
And buyers have the ability right now to say no. Walk away. Because the pool of buyers is just so small right now that, hey, if you don't get what you want, walk away. We'll go back in a couple of weeks. Got a probably 90% chance that house is still going to be on the market. Very good chance that house is still going to be on the market. Yep. So, well, let's get into our Orlando numbers. Speaking of Orlando, and here we are again, below that 400 homes per week mark, down around that 350. Surprisingly, we actually got a little bit of an increase in inventory. Okay. Which, last couple of weeks before December, you will see some people start to put their houses on the market, hoping possibly to get it sold before the end of the year. Yep. Condos.
You'll see some buyers move too, because they want to get that homestead. So they're going to try to lock that in. Yep.
So I've actually always had really, very good Decembers, consistently. A lot of people are like, oh, I take December off. Like, why? I've had consistent, good Decembers. So we look at this, then we get into our breakdown of our numbers. Months of inventory, again, sitting around that 6 months, over 1 million, 10.5 months right now. We actually went up a little bit on the original list to sales price. We were at 92.5, and we went up about 1% to 93.7%.
All right. So right direction, maybe.
Yeah. And then you see average days listing to contract 69. So that came down a little bit as well, about 5-6 days. But maybe what that may be is maybe a couple good homes actually did hit the market. And they went for a little bit closer to what people were asking for because it's a quality home. Yep. So that would be interesting to break into those numbers and take a look, see what those look like. Then you see graphically, here we are. I mean, it's pretty consistent under that 400 mark. Period average 395. Last week we're 399. So sales still flat. And what they're saying is the lowest number of sales in Orlando, lowest turnover. This past year, first 9 months, only 26 of every 1,000 homes has been turned over.
It's low.
And that's the lowest since 2012. Nationally, it's sitting at 28 homes per thousand, I believe it is.
Okay, so slightly lower than the national.
So slightly lower. And then our inventory since the beginning of the year last year, we're still up nearly 22%. So there's a lot of choices out there. Now it's take advantage of it. And if you're a buyer, be aggressive. If you're a seller, you got a lot more competition. You got to look at what you need to do to get your house truly in market condition.
Mm-hmm.
Then we break into our condos, sitting at almost a year worth of inventory in the condos. Average days listed in contract sitting at 99. So Orlando market, very slow. It's just, it's consistent. And I think, we've got to see what we've seen. Zillow's showing us that, hey, values have come down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that may fall a little bit further in the next couple months. But I think if we can get the 10-year down below 4, back at that 3.95, what do we hit it? Like 3.95 for a day?
It's right about there. Yeah. Like it just.
And it broke us to that 6%.
Yeah.
And you could actually, with paying a little bit, you were getting down to 5.75.
Yeah. Yeah. It opened the door up, and like that's the price. Like it just made it. And I always like when we have it, like we like kiss it, then we fall back up. And the problem with that is it shows like, hey, we're right there. And then I think you get a lot of buyers that get excited. They jump in, and then it's like, oh crap, nope, never mind. And now they're waiting for it to touch back down there.
Yep. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. They're just kind of sitting there. It's like, I need that, it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but I need it to drop that quarter point. So I save that $150, $200 a month, because I feel more comfortable with that number overall.
Yep.
And which I can understand completely, because, everything, cost of living right now, everything's tight for everybody.
Yeah.
It just what it is. So, but thank you all. Please, if you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, please like, share, and join us again next Thanksgiving next Thursday.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So we will be off next week, but we'll be back. We should be back the following week. And everyone have a wonderful holiday. Enjoy the family and everything. Take care. And this is the Orlando Real Estate Buzz. Have a great afternoon. Take care.